Hi teachers, it's Laura from Travel and Teach Online FAQ, and in today's video I'm going to share my first 18 months with DaDa, my experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, and a few stats and things. If you haven't applied for DaDa and you're interested, I will leave my link below. You're free to send me a message or leave a comment and I will help you out. So yeah, I've been with them for 18 months. I've just signed another contract for another 6 months that starts next week. Got a nice little pay rise, so I'm really happy with this company, but no company is perfect, so I want to give like a good overview of what I think is good, the bad and the ugly. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a few stats. So the really cool thing about the phone app is that you can check it out and see how many days you've been with the company, how many lessons and how many students you've taught. So for me personally, I've been with the company for 548 days, I've taught 516 students, and I currently have 23 regular students, which is quite a lot, and most of them I've taught for the whole 18 months now, which is pretty cool, and I have taught 2,954 lessons so far. I'm really hoping I can make it to 3,000 before the end of this contract, which is only a week and a half to go, so keep your fingers crossed for me. And yeah, so in terms of hours, I teach at the moment 19.5 hours a week on contract, and usually, unless I'm feeling super lazy or I've got something on, I will do an extra 5 or 10 hours at the weekend. So yeah, there are some stats for me to remember in the future, and if you want to know like how much experience I actually have with this company, there you go. Let's start with the good. So the good things about this company are, for me personally, that I've been fully booked from the beginning. For maybe my second or third week, my schedule was completely full of regulars, and on the few occasions I've had them leave, they've been instantly replaced with other regular students. More often than not, when the student cancels, that space is also filled with other students or with trials. So yeah, I am generally fully booked, apart from the really slow times like maybe Chinese New Year. I think there's a week in kind of October which is a bit quieter. So yeah, I'm really happy with that, because obviously the more you're booked, the more pay you get. The same with part-time as well. I'm often 90% booked for part-time, which is great because if the lessons are cancelled, you still get half pay. And the next thing is that you get regular students. I see that quite a lot of companies don't do this, and that's one of the main reasons I haven't made the leap yet. In my last video, when I did like a year review, I said I was looking at diversifying, and I haven't done that yet because I just haven't found a company that has these kind of qualities that I'm looking for. So yes, you get regular students. Like I say, I've had them, most of them, for 18 months, and I love this because you really get to know them, you get to see their progress, you get to meet their family. I started with one kid and his mum was like pregnant when we started, and now she has like a little 1-year-old baby, and they've had like kittens, and now they're fully grown cats, and it's just really cool seeing how they progress. Obviously in their English as well, when you get a student, that doesn't know their alphabet yet, and then they can answer questions and speak quite confidently. It's a great feeling. I feel like if I worked for a company where you just taught different students, or you didn't have that kind of schedule, I would be missing out a little bit. The next thing that I really like is the fact that we can pace the lessons how we choose. Again, with other companies I've been like researching, you have to finish the slides within the lesson. And sometimes this is not a problem because apparently there's not that many slides, but I really like having the autonomy just to go with my students' pace, to veer off from the lesson if we're talking about something interesting. If my student is really struggling with something or needs some extra practice, say with phonics or reading, that I can spend some time doing that and not have to worry about getting through this lesson. So I really appreciate that they let us do what we think is right, and they trust us to teach how we feel we should. The next thing I like, or the last thing that I like, is the long-term leave policy. So every 6 months we can get 30 days off, penalty free. Obviously you don't get paid because we're independent contractors, but you can take a big chunk of time off with no penalty. And I love that because it means if you want to go on holiday, if you want to have a bit of a break, you can do that, and that's quite a nice change. It's never been like that in the past. We've only had the 2 days a month, which is great as well, but having the option to have a longer break without having to pay 10% of your salary or to have a big fine Yeah, I love that. So they are my main positives about the company. Let's go into the bad. There are really only two things that I would consider like negative or cons to this company. One is the courseware. It isn't always great. There is some good courseware that's really fun to use with the students, but I've seen other companies and their platforms look more interactive, their lessons look a bit more put together, whereas sometimes with DaDa the courseware can be pretty poor, especially the lessons that were made like a while ago from the company itself. I don't see those as often anymore, but they do mean that sometimes you have to add a bit more of your own material, and as you get more experience this becomes easier, but in the beginning it can be a bit of a struggle when you have 30 minutes and just 4 slides with the letters A, B, C and D. I understand as a new teacher this can be quite challenging, and there can sometimes be grammatical errors or spelling mistakes or just things that don't make sense. They are good at changing this if you do send them a message, but yeah, sometimes the courseware isn't my favourite and I have seen better in other companies, so that's one thing. The other thing that is a little bit of a negative is the communication. Sometimes, obviously, you're working for a company who are in a different country, their first language is a different language to yours, so you have to be understanding and kind of make some exceptions. But I found sometimes the company make these massive changes and they kind of push them out without really explaining them too well, and this causes a lot of issues, a lot of angry teachers. And if they'd kind of just maybe tested it out first, or got a native speaker to check over the language or to make sure things are clear, then it would have saved them a lot of hassle and it would have saved teachers a lot of stress, and the leave policy being one thing. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there have been a few occasions where things have changed dramatically without being told in advance, which keeps us on our toes. And the last thing, the ugly, I was struggling to really think of anything because there's nothing that I hate about this company enough not to be with them. I think overall they're a great company and I really like teaching DaDa, but the thing that I like probably the least is their emergency leave policy, and to be fair to them, I think they're changing that at the moment. They are reducing the fines, but as it stands when I'm recording this, or as far as I'm aware, if you take last minute leave, so this is leave that you book within 24 hours, say if you're sick or there's been an emergency, the fines are super high. So for example, most people get paid about 120 yuan an hour, and if you book an hour off, you have to pay them 120 yuan. So not only are you not getting paid for teaching, you're actually paying them what you would have earned on top of that. So for me, for example, if I have a day off and I'm sick, I teach 4 hours a day, then I am losing £40 of my money and paying them about £40 as well. So I'm like losing £8 on the day just for being sick or having an emergency, and I don't think this is great. I know there has to be something, because otherwise teachers will take advantage, and they are a business, but I do think there maybe could be a little bit less strict, or there could be some more leeway involved. I know that if you can send a doctor's note, then when you're sick and you go to doctors and get a sick note, then the fines can be removed. But even this, I know in America it's expensive to go to the doctor. In the UK, unless you've been sick for more than 3 days, you sometimes have to pay for a sick note or they just won't give them out. So it's not always as easy as that. So that's the one thing that I would really change if I could. But yeah, overall I love this company, and I've had a really good experience so far. 18 months have been amazing, and I'm really looking forward to the next 6. I will continue to look at other companies and maybe one will catch my eye, but so far everything I've seen just doesn't have what I'm looking for. So yeah, if you're interested in DaDa too, I'd love to help you out. I'll leave my referral link down below. If you apply, send me a message and I will talk you through the whole process. I also have some videos about how to do your demo or an application process which might help you. But yeah, that's everything. Have a wonderful day, and if you have any questions or you work for any company that you love too, leave a comment down below. If you work for DaDa and love them, let me know down below as well. I know not everyone does, so if you have any problems with DaDa, you can also let me know down below. I'm happy to talk about them with you. Alright, I will see you next time. Bye.